Lost in the Mountains. Chapter 1. The Trip Begins. It was a bright Saturday morning when Ethan, Jake, and Liam packed their backpacks and left the small town of Boulder, Colorado. They had been planning this hiking trip for weeks. Ethan, the oldest at 20, loved adventures. Jake, who was 19, always wanted to take cool pictures for his Instagram. Liam, the youngest, just wanted to spend time with his best friends before college started again. They drove up the narrow mountain road in Ethan's old Jeep. The air got colder and tall pine trees surrounded them. The boys laughed, sang songs, and talked about everything: girls, music, and the future. When they finally reached the trail, they parked the car and started walking. The mountain path was quiet, except for the sound of birds and the wind in the trees. Sunlight passed through the branches and danced on the ground. It felt peaceful, almost too peaceful. After a few hours, they stopped near a small river to eat sandwiches and rest. Jake took photos of the water and joked, "Hey, if we get lost, at least we'll have great pictures." They all laughed, not knowing how true those words would become. Later in the afternoon, clouds began to cover the sky. The air felt different, heavier, colder. Ethan looked up and said, "Let's keep moving. We still have a few miles before the campsite." The trail got steeper, and the forest became darker. The sound of thunder rolled in the distance, but none of them wanted to turn back. They were too excited to stop now. As they climbed higher, a strong wind started blowing. The signal on their phones disappeared. "No service," Liam said, checking his screen. Ethan shrugged. "We'll be fine. It's just one night in the mountains." They didn't know yet how wrong he was. Chapter 2. The Disappearance. By the time the boys reached the campsite, it was almost dark. The storm was getting closer, and the wind howled through the trees. They quickly set up their small tent, collected dry branches, and started a fire. The orange light of the flames made them feel safe. They sat around the fire, eating canned beans and telling stories. Jake tried to scare the others with ghost tales about people getting lost in the mountains, but Ethan just laughed. "Stop it, man! Liam looks like he's gonna run already," Ethan said. Liam smiled nervously. "I'm fine, but I hope we don't meet any ghosts tonight." The rain started soon after. It wasn't heavy, but it made the forest sound alive. Drops falling on the tent, the wind moving branches, strange noises from the dark. They fell asleep one by one, tired after the long hike. When morning came, the rain had stopped. The air was fresh and cold. Birds were singing again. Ethan opened the tent and stretched. "Hey guys, let's get some water from the river before breakfast," he said. But only Jake answered. Liam's sleeping bag was empty. At first, they thought he just woke up early. "Maybe he went to take pictures," Jake said, grabbing his camera. But after 15 minutes, they started to worry. His backpack was still there, his jacket too. Ethan frowned. He wouldn't go far without his stuff. "Let's look for him." They walked along the river, calling his name again and again. "Liam! Hey, Liam!" No answer, only the sound of water and birds. After an hour, they reached a split in the path. "You go left, I'll go right," Jake suggested. Ethan hesitated. "I don't know. We should stay together. We'll cover more ground this way," Jake insisted. Ethan finally agreed, but something didn't feel right. The forest was too quiet now. The air felt thick, heavy. He followed a narrow trail up the hill, shouting Liam's name until his throat hurt. On the other side, Jake was walking deeper into the woods. His camera hung around his neck, bouncing as he moved. He noticed footprints in the mud and followed them. They looked fresh, maybe Liam's. But then they just stopped. Suddenly, Jake heard a sound behind him, a branch snapping. He turned quickly, but no one was there. "Liam, is that you?" he called. Silence. He took a few more steps, and then he realized he had no idea where he was. The path behind him was gone. Everything looked the same. Trees, rocks, shadows. Back at the hill, Ethan tried to call Jake, but his phone still showed no service. The sky was getting darker again, clouds were moving fast, and the sound of thunder returned. Panic started to grow in his chest. He shouted Jake's name, but the wind carried his voice away. For the first time, he felt afraid, really afraid. Somewhere deep in the forest, Jake stopped walking. He looked around, completely lost. "Great," he whispered. "Now we're all lost." The three friends were somewhere in the same mountain, but none of them knew where. Chapter 3: Signals in the Smoke. Ethan walked through the forest for hours. His legs hurt and his hands were cold. The sky was gray and fog started to move between the trees. He stopped, took a deep breath, and tried to listen. There was only silence. No birds, no wind, nothing. He felt alone. He thought about his friends and about how stupid it was to separate. "We should have stayed together," he whispered to himself. Meanwhile, Jake sat under a big rock, trying to stay dry. The rain had started again. His phone still had no signal, and his camera battery was dead. He looked at the pictures he had taken earlier, photos of the river, the tent, and one where Liam was laughing. He stared at that one for a long time. "I have to find them," Jake said out loud. He decided to climb up to higher ground. Maybe he could see something from above. The rocks were slippery, but he moved slowly, step by step. When he reached the top, he saw something strange in the distance, a thin line of smoke rising above the trees. At first, he thought it was lightning or fog, but then he realized it was a fire. Someone was there. Maybe Ethan, maybe Liam. He waved his arms and shouted, "Ethan! Liam!" But no one could hear him, so he started walking toward the smoke. On the other side of the mountain, Ethan had just managed to light that small fire. His hands were shaking from the cold. He remembered something his grandfather once told him: "If you're ever lost in the wild, smoke is your best message." So he added green leaves and wet grass to make the smoke thicker and darker. It rose high into the air, visible even through the fog. He hoped Jake or Liam would see it. Not far away, Liam was actually the one closest to Ethan's fire. He had gotten lost early in the morning after going to the river for water. He had shouted for help, but the forest swallowed his voice. He spent the whole day walking in circles, trying to find the campsite again. Now, as the light faded, he noticed the smell of smoke. His heart jumped. "Fire! Someone's there!" he said, running toward it. Branches hit his face as he pushed through the trees, but he didn't stop. When he finally broke through the forest line, he saw Ethan standing by the fire, his face lit by orange flames. "Liam!" Ethan shouted, smiling with relief. They ran toward each other and hugged. "Oh, man, I thought you were gone," Liam said, almost laughing from joy. "I could say the same," Ethan replied. They sat by the fire for a moment, trying to warm up. Then Liam looked at Ethan seriously. "Where's Jake?" Ethan's face changed. "He went to look for you, and I haven't seen him since." Liam stood up. "Then we make more smoke. He'll see it. He's smart. He'll understand." They both threw more leaves and grass into the fire. The smoke grew thick and heavy, rising high above the trees. From far away, Jake saw it clearly this time. He smiled for the first time all day. "That has to be them," he said, and started running. An hour later, just as the sun disappeared, he found the camp. Ethan and Liam were shouting his name, and Jake came out of the shadows, tired, dirty, but grinning. They all hugged, laughing and shaking their heads. "Never again," Jake said. "Next time, we stay together." Ethan poked the fire with the stick and looked up at the stars slowly appearing in the sky. "Yeah," he said quietly, "together." The forest around them was silent again, but this time it didn't feel scary. It felt peaceful. They had found each other, and that was all that mattered. The end.
This is Smart English ABC, where you can learn English through stories that feel alive. See you in the next one.